everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's Crochet 101 we are going to be learning some basic stitches that you need to start your crochet journey. So yeah, let's get started. So in this video I will be using the US terminology. That is just because that's what I learned. So for this video you will need a ball of wool and a crochet hook. I am using DK wool and a 5mm, but if you're just practicing then it really does not matter what you use as long as it is comfortable and easy. So to start off you're just going to try and find your end. You can either find the outside end here, which is just twisted around, or I prefer to try and find the centre pull. So looking straight in there and trying to pull out the centre bit. This does take a little time and you can get a lot like that. So the first thing that we are going to learn today is a slip knot. Now this is how you will start some of your projects. You may also start them in a magic ring, but that is what we're going to learn a bit later. So for this you do not need your hook, you just need the end of your wool. Everybody does a slip knot differently. This is just the way that I learn and this is the way that I find easiest. But if you do not find this easiest, then please go and find a different video and do your research and find a way that works for you. I'm going to try and explain this the best that I can, but I've never had to explain it before. So with the end of your wool, you're going to try and make a sort of triangle-ish shape. My wool's a bit bent, there we go. So you're going to hold both of these in your hand. You can just link them together and you've made sort of a loop. So your end is here. You're just going to hold on to however long you want it, it doesn't really matter, and made a loop. You're going to put your index finger in the loop facing down. Twist it up, pop your thumb in, and then without letting go of this hand, you're going to grab this top one. So I'll do that again. So we've got our little loop, we're going to go down, twist, pop the thumb in, and then you are going to grab this top one here. Now don't let go of this hand. You are just going to slide your fingers along whilst holding on to that bit of wool and you will create your slip knot. I'll do that again. Slip knots are also really easy because you can just pull them apart. So grab your end and then another bit of wool as well, like that. Pop your index finger in, turn it around, pop your thumb in, and then grab, that's not really the easiest way to show you, grab the top one, hold on to it and pull. And that is how I make my slip knots. As you can see, we've got the knot here, the loop, and then two tails. So the next thing you want to do is insert your hook. So grab your hook, obviously, pop it in, and then you're going to pull on the shortest and longest tail until it is tightened around your hook. You want to be able to move it, you don't want it really super tight, but you don't want it also loose. This will take some practice, obviously, and then you are basically set up and ready to crochet. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is how to hold your yarn. This took a bit of practice and there are lots of different ways to do it, but I'm going to show you my way as this might be your way as well. So again, I'm going to try and explain this the best that I can. I hold, so let's just have this, our long tail that is still attached to our ball. I hold it by popping it in and holding it with my pinky and my ring finger. I promise you this will ache. The first night I did crochet and the first day I woke up and I was like, I couldn't stretch my pinky. So you're going to hold it with those two. When I say hold it, it's just, you're not actually holding it, it's just making sure you can't, you know, really easily pull it through. So just kind of have it in your little pinky hole like so. And then I don't do anything with my middle finger just yet, but I wrap my index finger around. So I go away from me and towards me. And then my ring finger and my thumb will hold on to whatever I'm doing. That is the way that I find it easiest for me to crochet, because then I can work really closely together. I'm going to do that once more. So you're going to hold it with your pinky and your ring, wrap finger away towards, and then I like to hold my slip knot or something with my other two fingers. This will feel weird. It will, so don't worry if it is feeling weird. It is obviously going to feel weird. There are lots of different ways of holding your yarn, but this is the way that I learn and the way that I find best. Now, the whole reason that we hold yarn and we don't just knit like this, one, that's really awkward, but two is, also I said knit, I meant crochet. The other reason is tension. Now, tension is very important in your projects, as this determines how tight and neat your stitches are. So when I first started, obviously my stitches were not neat at all, but I've worked on this and found ways for me to work on it, and that is what you will find too. So tension is basically making sure that the yarn is not all different lengths and sizes, and you don't have different stitch lengths and all that, and it just makes everything look neat and tidy. Right, let's move on to a stitch. The first stitch that we are going to learn is called a chain. I hold my crochet hook like a butter knife, so I have my finger on top and my hand is basically over it. You can also hold it like a pencil, but that is not comfortable for me, so I use the butter knife technique. So what you're going to do is, with your hook facing up, you're going to move it under your yarn, and then I like to hold it there and pull it through your original slip knot, and you've just made your first chain. So let's do it again. So you're going to hook under and pull through. You are going to hook under and pull through, and again under and pull through, under and pull through, and you are making your chain. Because I'm going really slow, mine's not very neat, but that doesn't really matter. This is just some stitch practice. So another way of doing a chain is you can hook over and pull through, but I don't like that. So I typically always go under and pull through. When I am working, I like to sort of have my fingers close to where I am working, just so that if anything gets caught, I can use my thumb and my finger to stretch it, give it a little wiggle and pull it through. And it just saves this whole hand getting involved, or this hand dropping the hook and having to do it like that. Okay, so next up we're going to learn a single crochet. So as you can see, we have got lots and lots and lots of chains that we have created. Now, one single stitch is like a V. As you can see, we've got lots and lots of little V's. So that is one stitch, that is one stitch, that is one stitch. Recognising stitches took a little bit of time for me, but that's okay. It just meant that I just did a bit more practice, but once I was able to recognise it as a V, then it does become a lot easier. So once you have just done your beginning chain, the single crochet process is a little bit different to if you were a few rows in, but it's the same hand movements, it's just where you go. So we're going to find our first stitch, which is here. This is our first V from our hook, and I'm going to pull it up so you can see. We are going to insert our hook into that first stitch. So give it a little wiggle. So you should have 2 loops on your hook. Then we're going to put your hook under and grab the wool, pull it through one of the hooks, so the first loop on your hook. So I'll do that again. So you're going to insert, pull through one, and then yarn over again and pull through both of them this time. Now that might take some practice, that's okay, because if you did your chain quite tight then this might be an issue or where you struggle. So let's practice it once more. So as you can see, this is our chain. We're going to go into the next stitch, which is here. So you're going to put your hook in, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. Now you may have noticed that I used two different types of yarning over. That's okay, you can do that, it's whatever's comfortable with you. So I go into the stitch and then I yarn over the top and pull through. That is just what I find more comfortable. And then I yarn under and pull through to make my single crochet. As you can see, looking good. So you're going to go into your next stitch, which is here. So it is not this big hole that you've created, it's the one along from it, here. You're going to go in, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through both. And once more, into the next stitch, hook in, yarn over, pull through one, yarn over, pull through two. So you can keep doing that until you've done all of your chains. So I'm going to speed along. So I've just reached back to the first stitch that we ever did, and this time we are going to rotate our work or turn our work. So that basically means we're going to flip it. So I always bring my work towards me and over, just because that is what feels the best for me. And then to start a new row, we're going to chain one, over and through. So these single crochets may look a little bit different just because we have got more wool to go through. So instead of just going through one loop, we are going to go through two. As you can see on top, we've got our beautiful little V's. So going into the first stitch, which is here, you are going to go in through both of those loops. So if you look from the top, you will have 3 loops, but in reality it counts as 2, which is a bit confusing. So you're going to do the same thing, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, going to go into the next stitch. I find that if I can't find my stitch, if I just prod around a little bit, then I normally find it. As long as we have our V on our hook, we're all good. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And then we're going to go into our next stitch, so not this one, because that's the one that we've just done. We're going to go into this one. You might need to give it a little pull at the start just to make sure you can see it. Going to go in, yarn over, through 1, yarn over, through 2. And that is how we single crochet when we've not just done it into a chain. So we are single crocheting into our single crochets. So making sure you've got both V's on your hook when you do it. Otherwise that's a little bit of a different stitch, but it's not the end of the world, especially when you're practicing. So I'm going to do that until the end, and then we will learn one more stitch. And this is what it should look like. We are going to turn our work again, so towards us, and then chain 1 to start our new row. Now this new stitch that I'm going to teach you now is called a slip stitch. It is very, very easy. So this time we're going to find our stitch again, So this is our first one. You're going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull through one, but you're going to continue to pull through the second one as well. So I'll do that once more. Into our next stitch, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through and pull through. With this you might have to move your hook at some different angles, but that is just good practice. Don't be afraid to move your hook around. Into the next stitch, which is this one, we're going to insert a hook, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through again, like so. And again, making sure you've got both of the loops or both of the V's on your hook, like so. Yarn over, pull through and pull through. Yarn over, pull through, pull through. Super. Now, one of the things when I'm learning something new is always the what if I make a mistake, what if something happens. Yes, you will make mistakes and your hook will come out of your work and it may unravel a bit, like so. But the good thing, or the thing that I love most with crochet, is that it unravels stitch by stitch. So if we unravel a few stitches, you see that we've still got our little loop here, which we can pull back, up, insert our hook back into and tighten, and then we just carry on with whatever stitches we were doing. So we were doing slip stitches, so we can just carry on by slip stitching and you kind of know where you've gone. So that's kind of what I like about crochet, that's a lot different to knitting in my opinion, is that if you lose where you are or your hook comes out, you can just carry on from where you were instead of having to fish for a stitch that you don't know where it's come from. So I'm going to carry on slip stitching until we get to the end of the row. Now we have reached the end of our row. I'm now going to teach you a method of finishing off, basically, or fastening off as some people call it. So you typically want to do a chain, so yarn over, pull through, pull your hook a little bit so that you're getting a massive loop, and then take the hook out, grab some scissors. These can be any scissors, like literally anything that can cut, and then a little bit away from your hoop you're just going to cut your yarn. Then with your hoop you're just going to pull it through, and ta-da, you have finished your first piece of crochet. Well done. So I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial. I hope you found it really helpful. In this video we learn a chain, a single crochet and a slip stitch, and also how to fasten off and slip knot and start, basically. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a big like and remember to subscribe, as this series will be going on for a little while, so there'll be lots of different crochet tips and tricks in there as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!